Good on, people. We are Tottenham TV. We are back. Tottenham against Leeds match preview. And we have got our resident Leeds fan, Scott. Leeds home and away. Scott, how are we doing today, mate?
Not bad, not bad. Nice to be here with you guys. How you doing?
Great to have you. Great to have you.
Surely there's no animosity in the ranks, because we did relegate you a couple of years back.
Wow. I mean,
You can't return the favour this year, man. Don't return the favour.
I'd argue it wasn't you that relegated us. It was playing 6 centre-backs most games in that run-in and going through 3 different managers. But, yeah, to be honest, I don't think Leeds fans, I was saying to you before, I don't think they really hold Tottenham as the team that relegated them. Obviously, that was the game. But I think most people knew going into that game there was no chance. Like, it was a long shot anyway, and we should have beat Newcastle a couple of weeks before. Bamford missed a penalty. Then we should have beat West Ham, but we got absolutely battered, and then, yeah, ended up losing to Tottenham 4-1.
What a season you're having this season, you know. It's been a crazy season for Leeds because they're now, I mean, still not mathematically safe, but,
No.
you know, in a good position. Cast your mind back to, what was it, November time, December time. Daniel Farke was a week away from the sack. They said he needed to get points out of Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea.
Yeah.
He ended up getting, I think, 4 points out of those 3 games. And against Man City, they came back from 2-0 down. And since then, you've just kicked on, haven't you? What do you think he's changed in you know, from how you started the season, when he was on the brink of a sack, to now, where you're almost safe?
Well, it was just that bravery to change it. Obviously, the change of formation is the obvious way to look at it. We went 2-5 back at half-time in that Man City game. Came out, completely dominated them. If it wasn't for a Phil Foden last-minute goal after Donnarumma was injured, went down, and they all got a load of tactics from Pep Guardiola. But and then just the belief coming out of how we played in that half, beating Chelsea the way we did, Tanaka with that beautiful goal, and then Calvert-Lewin springing into form. But yeah, you got to give credit to Daniel Farke for being brave enough to do that. It was something, I think maybe he got a little bit of criticism from Leeds fans for not changing things around, leaving substitutions late, like always getting to at least the 60th, 70th minute before he made any subs. And that drastic change completely switched our season around. And Calvert-Lewin finding form gave us the points we needed to start to build momentum.
There was that little period in the season just before that win at Old Trafford where you're thinking no wins in 6 or 7, was it?
It was.
And you're thinking, are Leeds going to drop back into this?
Yeah, we went about 4 or 5 games without even scoring a goal. But we were still, I mean, we drew 0-0 at Palace, and we had a dodgy red card with Goodmanson that we got an apology for after he served the suspension, so what was the point? But and then we had the other 0-0 draw where Brentford just set up brilliantly against us and sat back. So it wasn't, the worry was not scoring the goals and Calvert-Lewin not having the form, but we were always creating the chances, and with the FA Cup games either side of that, where we battered Norwich and whatnot, it didn't feel as bad as it probably was on paper in the Premier League. But the worry did start to creep back in. When you're a Leeds fan, the worry's always going to be there until it's mathematically safe.
Because we do a stream with Wolfie, who's a Nottingham Forest fan, and Nicky, who's a West Ham fan. And just before you played Man United, we were all discussing it. And us and Nicky, the West Ham fan, were like, you know what, don't discount Leeds from this relegation zone. We were like, you know, Leeds are the ones that could go down here because of the form that they're on. Obviously, Spurs were still on dreadful form, but we were backing Spurs to turn it around at that point. And then you got that win at Old Trafford, and it's like you've just kicked on from there, haven't you? And it's just been fantastic performance after fantastic performance. And you can say what you want about not being mathematically safe, but you're safe now.
Yeah, I mean, spot on, really, because just before that game, you're looking at the upcoming fixtures and you're thinking, realistically, of all the times to suddenly get something at Old Trafford, you're hoping it would be a game against Amarim with, like, we missed a chance by not playing them last year, and obviously we go up and do that performance. No one expected that. So that's why I was saying, sort of in my head, I always said it was that Tottenham game. After that is when I feel comfortable, we're safe. We've then got that kind of bonus of those extra 3 points against Man United that we weren't really expecting. So now we're coming to the Tottenham one, like you say, we're pretty much safe now. We don't need to stress, we don't need to worry. Like, look at the form. It's not going to happen. But
It's true, but if let's say going into this game, West Ham win against Arsenal on Sunday, obviously we play on a Monday night, is all of a sudden, are you slightly, does the game have more importance for you then? If West Ham do win, all of a sudden the gap is in 4 points, and you have West Ham to play as well.
Yeah.
Or, like, if you're looking at that situation going into the game on Monday, Like, does the game have heightened importance? Are you starting to get a bit worried if West Ham do win that game?
I think the worry is kind of there regardless. With Leeds fans, they've been through so much, all the stuff that it'd be the old saying, it would be Leeds to do that. No team in a 38-game Premier League season has been relegated on 43 points. It would be very Leeds United to become the first. But I think if we're not mathematically safe, the kind of fear that might be there is going to be there regardless on Monday. And I guess, I mean, Tottenham have been playing well, played really well last game. I was here watching it, wasn't I? And it was the kind of performance that if we weren't in the position we would be, it would start to worry you a little bit even more. But with West Ham playing how poorly they did last week and their fixture list looking tough, it's always going to be in our own hands because we've still got to play West Ham as well, like you say. So I don't think it would ramp up their fear at all. I just think it would. The importance will be the same regardless of how they play and their result, as long as it's not mathematically safe.
We did get a bit of a favour in that game from Unai Emery, resting a few players, and they just didn't seem on it. Obviously, big up to Unai Emery and Aston Villa reaching the Europa League final. I want to say a big congratulations to them. But fully deserved. Is there a case though, if West Ham do lose to Arsenal, is there a chance of Leeds just calming down a little bit? Because you're playing at 1,000,000 miles an hour in these games. It's like you're blowing teams away inside the first 20, 25 minutes. Like, you've got to calm down a little bit coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Honestly, at this point, I can't see that happening. I think obviously we have a very poor record in London anyway, especially previously. When we first got promoted under Marcelo Bielsa, we didn't even have a win in London. Like our terrible form there, and obviously bad memories from the last time we went to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 3-2 up with about 8 minutes to go, and Bentancur decided to score a double.
That was a great game.
Yeah, well, it wasn't for me, but that was an interesting one. So the fear of London, I think, is not necessarily the fear, just the fact of playing in London never seems to go our way. But I think it just depends. If you start with the same intensity and the same pressing, you'll probably force some mistakes from the back line. Like Strauch, he's had a bit of criticism from these fans, perhaps unfairly. I think you've got to give him his credit where he's due. And I'm not going to say I'm not someone who hasn't criticised him, because I have. But he is a phenomenal player. But when he gets under that pressure, sometimes he's a bit too casual on the ball and can lose it. He was unfortunately the one who made the sort of first mistake at Chelsea for their goal at Wembley. In the FA Cup semi-final. But so that sort of thing, the pressure could start to get a bit of fear into Leeds fans. But I don't know. It would depend on if you start with the same high intensity that you did against Aston Villa, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the player making the real difference at the moment is Noah Okafor, isn't it? Like, he's scored 8 goals all season, 4 of those coming in the last 5 games or something like that. Like, where has this come from Noah Okafor? Like, he's always seen as maybe he flopped at AC Milan, really, and he's coming. And he went on loan to Napoli, didn't do too great. He's coming to Leeds, and nobody. I don't think many people. I don't know what the feeling was inside the Leeds fan base, but first half of the season, I don't think anyone was talking about him too much.
I think it was always he had a little injury problem as well along the way, but I think it was always a bit like you kind of want a bit more from him, kind of bigger name than usual coming to Leeds. And he's, like you say, he's got European pedigree and whatnot, but he just wasn't quite. I don't think he ever really had that manager that kind of believed in him, got the best out of him. And he's played up front, he's played on the wing, he's been around at the different clubs he's been at. And I think this kind of 5-back system with the 2 strikers, where he can sort of play off of Calvert-Lewin and go drop wide when he wants, kind of had a bit more freedom. It's just worked a treat for him. He can sneak in at that back post.
So he does. He's only finished, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
The far corner
those instinct finishes are fantastic, and like his quality is there to see. He's obviously got the quality, but maybe it's a little bit of mindset, a little bit of belief he needed from a manager that hasn't quite been there. And now he's got a solid run in the team. He's proven his quality, but. Yeah.
That's a good point, Okafor, because in terms of him playing up front, because I think his other clubs he's been playing on the wing, hasn't he? And so he's kind of found a new position, and maybe that's given him that little bit of freedom to actually get into the box and score more goals than before. Yeah,
I think the problem with him is it's kind of been a chop and change. Like one season he's playing up front, then someone comes in and he's moving out to the wide and whatnot. And while it's a good trait to have, I think he might have even, I might be wrong on this, but I think he came out and said he prefers playing as a striker. And we were playing him as a left winger at the start of the season. And he was doing okay. He was having, you could see his quality, like I said before, but he wasn't quite having the impact in terms of goals and assists that he is now. But then again, no one really was besides Calvert-Lewin popping up the goals. We were creating the chances, and no one was tucking them in. But yeah, I think that role suits him to a T. So it'd be interesting to see next season if we stick with the 5-back and that formation, what happens with him.
Another player who's made such a big difference for Leeds this year is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You know, you kind of forget he's only 29 years of age. And I thought he was a lot older than that because he's been off the ball for so long. He hasn't had a top season, for 5 years now. And now he's back.
He had one top season in his career.
Well,
he scored 16 that season for Everton, and the year before that he scored 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's had a couple of good seasons for Everton.
But he was always injury played and whatnot. And he still wasn't as good as Patrick Bamford back
But he had like 4 poor seasons in a row for Everton. Everyone's like, this guy's finished, this guy's washed. And he's gone to Leeds and he's really kind of reborn.
Now he's England's number 9 again.
Is he going to the World Cup?
Well, this is the thing. If you look at it, who's ahead of him? So you've got obviously Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Watkins, Solanke. I think he's been better than Solanke. Probably deserves a spot over him.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue for
And
most
injury
season better than
problems anyway.
Watkins.
Watkins, exactly. For most of the season in terms of goal contribution, he's up there. And then there's obviously Danny Welbeck comes into the debate, but he's not been looked at by Tuchel for. So there's a chance to. My gut's saying he won't be, but I'd love to see him there.
Do you think, as an England fan, do you think you would take him?
I think it would be great to see him there. You've got to take him. He offers something different. And, I mean,
As a neutral, would you take him?
as a
Anyone what's
neutral,
best for England?
I mean, he did wear England's number 9 a few weeks back, but no, honestly, I think Solanke's had injury problems and whatnot, and we're very fortunate Calvert-Lewin hasn't, because he's so played with injuries throughout his career.
Who's the last Leeds player that went to? It must have been Calvin Phillips, right? The last Leeds player that went to an international tournament.
Calvin Phillips went, and then Bamford got
For England, you mean?
Bamford got 45 minutes of football, and he was terrible and never played again for England. But that wasn't at a tournament. So Calvert-Lewin was at that one as well, the Euros. But he was, I don't know if he might have made one appearance, but.
Did you want Calvert-Lewin? Like, were you excited when you signed him, or were you one of those like, oh my god, why are we getting this wash striker?
I think the thing was we signed Metcher and Calvert-Lewin both on a free transfer, and you're thinking there's probably like one other big signing coming in here, and at the time you're thinking probably a bit harsh on Joel Piroux, who was our top scorer last season. He actually ended up being our top scorer for the whole calendar year, despite not scoring after about April when he got 4 against Stoke. But and you've kind of felt like, oh, maybe he deserves a chance, but he's not really been any good at all this year. And then you're thinking there's probably one more marquee striker coming in, and it never happened. And you're just worrying at the start about Calvert-Lewin's fitness, his injury, his lack of game time. And obviously when it came to the 5-back, and I think the first game we actually had Metcher and Calvert-Lewin both up there, and you suddenly thought this is the start of a new partnership. And Calvert-Lewin went on his run, but Metcher's been a good second choice and Calvert-Lewin's been a first choice. So yeah, I was more concerned about him being our only starter, but turns out it worked a treat, and he's been fully fit, and he offers so much more than just the goals.
I want to ask you about this. I've been talking to Sim about this all season when we do our prediction shows, right? Leeds under the lights, midweek or a Friday night, wherever it may be, at Ellen Road. It's mad, isn't it? Because you always just seem to get a firing start. You batter teams there when you play mid. What is it about that place? And by the way, that shithousery the other night with Smooth Criminal against Burnley
that was
top
when it
quality.
Came on. So I was there, and at the end of the game, I'm starting to walk out, and I was suddenly like, why are they playing this? Like something like I Predict Right or something. And I was trying to work out, then suddenly rose Michael Jackson. Absolutely brilliant, just nailing the coffin for the Burnley fans. But yeah, it's just different under the lights. I don't know, the crowd get behind you.
Are you unbeaten under the lights this season?
There was a thing about not just this season, but Daniel Farke being unbeaten under the lights after a certain time. And we lost one, which was I can't remember who it was against now, but it was actually a slightly earlier kickoff. It was about 6:30.
So
it was
8 o'clock.
It was like I think it was
no beating
anything 7:45 or later. I think Daniel Farke is still unbeaten under the lights at Ellen Road, which
Like
is quite impressive.
I want to know the results under the lights away from home. That's what I want to know this weekend.
Not quite the same, especially like London anyway. But it'll be interesting. It feels better in a night game, doesn't it? It always does for Leeds fans anyway. A long way to travel for most of the Leeds fans down to London.
Monday night as well, difficult to get home and everything like that.
Exactly, but they'll be there in their voices, and I don't know, I've got a good feeling, just partly because it's a late game.
You confident?
I don't know, I'm slightly confident. I think we've just been building up and starting to take those chances recently that if we get on the front foot early enough and create down those with the fullbacks bombing forward, will cause problems, because I mean, teams have caused problems to Spurs all season. I think I saw a stat that at one point he made the most what's it called, individual errors leading to chances and shots on goal. and we were actually,
we dominate that every year.
I think that's dried up under De Zerbi though.
It might. Yeah, this was before De Zerbi came in. I saw it, and I think we were in the bottom 3 of that, which is just that's been a big part of our. Despite not keeping so many clean sheets as we like, in terms of defensive solidarity, it was more being torn apart by players and making our own mistakes. And West Ham were down there as well, but
I think
we can take advantage of that.
XG conceded over since the Zerbi's come in, we're second least and you're the least.
Yeah.
So we're both being. This is actually the 2 current best defences over the last 2 games coming up.
Crazy.
No, I never would have said that at the start of the
Who would
season.
have thought
You can't envisage this game being 0-0. Like, this one game will not be 0-0.
And us and Forest are up there in the latest form as well.
The form team in the league, aren't we? I think Leeds are top.
I think it was us first and Forest third, maybe, or something from the last I checked.
I think you're on your crazy form. What is your, like, if you were to do a predicted lineup for Leeds for Monday night, what would it be?
I mean, it depends on the fitness of Goodmanson. I'm going to assume he's not fit. Daniel Farker's going to talk on it more today, I believe. But so it'll be Darlow in goal, Bogle, Strauch, Biol, and Rodon with James Justin as the left wing back. He's been fantastic signing. All the Leicester fans laughed at us, saying absolute steal, getting all that money for him and whatnot, and saying he was rubbish, he's going to sit on the bench. He's been phenomenal in every role he's played this season. Yeah, now they're in League One.
I thought he was quite good, just injuries held him back.
Yeah, and he's just been brilliant. And then in midfield it'll be Ampadu, who's easily our most vital player.
Yeah.
Like he might not be the best, he might not get the most like credit, but we're such a different team without him in there. And then it'll be Tanaka alongside him, I assume. Maybe Brendan Aronson, but I believe Stack's injured at the moment.
See, that's big.
That's quite important. Because he scored last week, didn't he?
He went off injured in that game, didn't he? Or is he back? No, yeah, he is back. Sorry. Yeah, he did
get injured.
He
got a bad ankle injury.
Missed,
I can't remember who was against. And then there was rumours he'd be out for the season.
He must be.
So he played 72
you're right.
minutes.
It's Gruev who's out
Burnley.
for the season. Yeah, it's Gruev who's out for the season with a knee injury. Stack's back. Yeah, okay, I think
that's not good.
Yeah, it'll probably be Stack and Tanaka in there then, and then Okafor, Calvert-Lewin. But I don't know.
It's
you
like
never know.
5-3-2.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same team we played at Burnley. But you never know when he's going to bring Aronson back in and whatnot. I think with the intensity of the game, it's probably leans in favour of Farker picking Aronson, so it will be him over Tanaka probably. But
so what kind of team would you like say Leeds are? Because they're known for like these fast starts, blowing teams away in the first 20 minutes recently anyway.
Yeah.
Getting lots of early goals. They did a couple at Old Trafford.
I don't think that's how Leeds fans would describe us.
But yeah, I'd say as an overall, like once that first half an hour is up, then you seem to drop back a bit when you've got that lead. So like, what should Tottenham fans expect from Leeds, do you think, when you come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Monday?
I think, like you say, it kind of all depends on the start of the game, how we start and how intense you guys are at the start. Because we've had those periods where we've been coming out of the blocks. I mean, we went 2-0 up against West Ham, 2-0 up against Manchester United, and both times it kind of fell apart. And even like you say at Burnley, went 3-0 up and then suddenly look a bit dodgy. They score. They could have had 2. And you suddenly just start to get nervy again. Like
Wolves as well.
Wolves. Every game where we went for a long period where we go 2-0 up and then suddenly it looks like it's all going to fall apart again. It was nice to have that one the opposite way around against Bournemouth where we nicked it last minute through Longstaff. But I think you can expect us to come up on the front foot, playing with those fullbacks, getting forward, and it's just about whether we can get in behind and how tight you're. I think a lot of the games for Leeds this season have been kind of won and lost in the midfield. When because we had a strong midfield from the players we signed from the off, and the rotation of Gruev and Tanaka coming in as well has helped a lot. And once we win that kind of midfield battle, we're off to the fire. So it kind of, I think, could be won there against Tottenham because, like I said, I think you'll come with the same intensity you did against Villa. It's about how the two defences hold up, really. Do you like to play out the back, short build up, or do you not shy going direct? We're certainly, since the 5-back, we're not shy going direct at all, and that's why like Calvert-Lewin had so much more to his game in terms of the hold up play, winning those battles, and just being a nuisance, really, and even a bit like the kind of thing Harry Kane always gets credited for, actually, of being in his own box, winning those headers. I think he's had about 3 cleared off the line in the last 3 games.
Yeah, I've actually
just from
noticed
corners,
that.
and it's like just that extra stuff that kind of goes unnoticed if you're not watching Leeds week in, week out. But yeah, we mix it up a little bit, really. We try and play some good football, but a lot of it will be looking up, try and find Calvert-Lewin and playing off
It's
around
going to be
him.
a big physical battle between like Calvert-Lewin and Kevin Danso. You know,
Yeah.
obviously both of them very good in the air.
Yeah, I think it's about how he occupies one of the centre half. So he can kind of pull Danso, let's say it is marking him out of the game. It allows that space for Okafor or even Brendan Aronson to do driving runs and kind of get him behind.
Well, how they line up, I think Okafor likes to go to the left a bit more, so it might be Van de Ven up against Calvert-Lewin.
I think he'll prefer that.
Yeah.
He'll prefer coming up against Van de Ven more than Danso.
Yeah, probably, because I mean it's going to be a physical battle either way because Calvert-Lewin will make it into one. But yeah, it will depend. I think Danso would kind of had the beating of Okafor if it wasn't for someone occupying his mind. So if you can kind of play in between the two and give Okafor that more freedom.
Tell Calvert-Lewin to
Could be
do his hair, to cut his hair this week. We don't want any hair pulling or anything like that.
Absolutely tugger. He could have pulled his hair out. Like, honestly,
Ridiculous.
should have been banned for
Oh,
longer.
God. Did you see that one last week?
I did.
Oh
yeah,
my
absolutely
days!
nothing
What
in
was
it.
that about?
Nothing in it.
Where would you say Leeds get got at the most? Where, like, recently? We actually
It's-
didn't got at all, but
Well,
where would you say, like, were your biggest, like, weakness or biggest flaw?
I think there are times, particularly in the first half of the season, where Gabriel Goodmanson got a bit of stick for not getting back in time. And credit to him, he's been really good, especially going forward. And I think he's been one of our best signings this season. I think that's now a common theme among Leeds fans. But he did get a bit of stick for a while, kind of when we were losing games of leaving those gaps and Strout kind of being a bit exploited, having maybe two men to kind of pick up and whatnot. Whereas like on the other side, it was being covered up better by Rodon and Justin when Bogle was going forward and Bogle was coming back. They were there. Kind of helps having maybe more of a right back in Justin there sometimes. But so I think in between that kind of area between the left wing back, which will be Justin likely on Monday, and Strout, that's kind of where there's a chance to kind of get in there if your wing
where
play.
Marnie is.
Yeah,
Great,
I mean,
thanks.
if you
Brilliant.
think back to the first game, that's pretty much exactly where Tell got his goal from, isn't it? And the other one.
Yeah,
Both of
you're
them were
right,
cutting
you're
in from
right,
that
you're
side.
right. Yeah,
Kudus
exactly
came
that
in,
end,
didn't
yeah.
he? I think he left Schalke on the
A
floor.
lot has changed since then. To be
Yeah,
fair.
that's
We
true.
had a different manager.
But-
You were pretty much a different team.
I think
at
that was
point.
around the time where they were getting the stick for that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So that's kind of an area where there's a chance to get in. But like I say, if you dominate the midfield, then the more chances you get, we're bound to concede. We don't keep many clean sheets.
Can't we just say, you know, West Ham to lose, you're mathematically safe, we beat you, at the end of the game, have a nice staying up party all together. I think that's the thing that
To be
can
honest,
align with everyone.
if we are mathematically safe come Monday, I don't think many of the fans will be that bothered about watching the football in the stadium. To be honest, it will just be a massive promotion party, not promotion, survival
Staying,
party,
yeah.
as you say. But I don't know. I think you lot are going to be nervous all the way until the end of the season now, aren't
Yeah,
you?
of course. But I think if we win this game, assuming West Ham are dropping points against Arsenal, then I think we got 1 foot in safety. I really do.
Yeah.
But how do you see it? Like now, from an outside looking in, with De Zerbi's come in now, obviously 2 wins on the bounce. Do you
Yeah.
think Spurs are going to do it, or do you still think we're in big trouble?
Watching that game against Villa, I know, like you said already, the kind of favours of the lineup. The performance was good. The intensity was good. Like you were saying, Conor Gallagher proved like that's kind of what he was signed for.
Yeah.
Everything he did in that game, and if you can keep that kind of performance, then you'll be all right. But the problem with Spurs a lot of this season is when they go 1-0 down, or when they get hit early, and they just seem to fall apart a little bit from what I've seen. And West Ham, they keep fighting, even though they might not have been playing as well necessarily as the teams around them, like us and Forest, for the majority of the season. They just keep fighting, and you feel like you can never count West Ham out. But when Spurs were going behind, you sort of went, that's it for them now.
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, if I was to give you guys a scenario, if we go 1-0 up, say in the first 10-15 minutes, what would the atmosphere suddenly become like, and what is the situation going to be for your players? Do you think they'll start to fall into
it'll
bad
be
habits?
different. I think the fans. The fans are showing resilience right now and backing
Yeah.
the team till the end. But I don't think we've gone, apart from the Sunderland game, we haven't gone behind under De Zerbi yet. And that Sunderland game was the first one, so it's hard to really say. But all season, once we've gone down, we've completely, like you said, like we've completely fallen apart.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen it under De Zerbi, and I think it'll be different at home. I think under the lights, I think it's going to be a big atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Monday night. So, look, I've always said in these last 3 games, the first goal is vitally important for Tottenham, because what we've seen all season is that when we go behind, we fall apart. I don't think we fell apart against Sunderland. I think it was a very even game, and they scored like a massive deflection. So, under De Zerbi, I don't think we've actually deserved to lose any game as of yet, but we haven't deserved to win many games either. But we showed a big performance against Brighton at home a couple of weeks ago, got pegged back in the last minute, big performance at Villa Park. So those 2 performances are probably up there with our 2 best performances of the season.
Definitely the Villa one.
So I'm going into it confident. I am going, but the first goal is definitely vital, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, well, we panic more when we go 2-0 up. So if we go 2-0 up, then I'll start to panic. But yeah, it's interesting you say, because those performances, even the Sunderland one, you still noticed it slightly from my memory of it. Of when they scored, it's just the heads dropping and the little bit of. But he's had time to work with them now, and I think that's where a player like Conor Gallagher is so vital.
I think there's a different belief in the camp now, though. I really believe that.
Yeah, you've got to believe it, because otherwise it's just not going to look very good. Score
prediction?
I don't like predicting scores. Honestly, I think both teams are definitely going to score. I can put some money on that. I'd say it's going to go 2-1 probably either way. I think we might edge you 2-1.
You're going to edge it, so you're going for Leeds to get the first goal.
I think so. Yeah, I think it'll be 2-1 either way.
You're going to be there.
I will be there.
I'll wave to you from the away end, mate. But yeah, I think both of us in our predictions both gone 2-1 Spurs.
Yeah,
I'll be waving up when we're 3-0 up in the last minute.
3-0 you're going for now. You start showing a bit of chest now.
You're not getting a wave. No, I think 2-1 either way, and I do think we'll come away 2-1 winners.
All right, brilliant, Scott.
It's been a
pleasure to have you
Thanks
on, mate.
Thanks for coming on, Scott.
Pleasure to have you on.
Pleasure.
I hope you don't have that smile on your face on Monday night. Let's hope so.
I'll be cooling in.
Big up to you, Scott. Thanks for coming on. All right, big up to Scott, people. Big up.